All right, today we are jumping into one of the most visual and, let's be honest, one of the most deceptive laws from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. We're talking about Law 37, a rule that's all about how these big, grand, visual shows can completely mesmerize an audience and, well, make them blind to what's really going on behind the curtain.
So to really see this law in action, we've got to travel back in time. We're going to look at this totally fascinating and, frankly, bizarre story from history that perfectly shows you the power of a really, really good performance.
I want you to picture this. We are in Berlin back in the early 1780s. Now, this is a big deal because this is the peak of the Enlightenment, an era that's supposed to be all about science, logic, and reason. But even against this backdrop of pure logic, these wild rumors start spreading. They're all about a doctor, a guy named Weissleiter, who is somehow doing the impossible. He's curing diseases that every other doctor has given up on.
So what's his method? What's his secret? Well, it definitely wasn't anything you'd find in a medical journal. Once word got out that his whole technique was exposing patients to the light of the moon, he pretty quickly got himself a nickname, the Moon Doctor.
And listen, this was not some small back-alley clinic. Oh no. The Moon Doctor was operating out of a giant converted beer hall. The source material talks about these huge lines of people, the blind, the lame, all waiting outside, just desperate for a cure. The sheer scale of this thing was part of the spectacle from the very beginning.
And if you got inside, it was pure theater. Weissleiter created this whole sensory experience. The book describes these weird floral smells, mystical music playing. He and his wife would perform this bizarre ritual, lifting the patient up towards the moonlight while muttering words nobody could understand. This wasn't a doctor's office. It was a stage production.
So this brings us to the real question, right? People were claiming they were cured, but was this actually medicine, or was something else going on? Was it a miracle, or was it just a really convincing manipulation?
So what was really happening in that beer hall? Well, the answer isn't in some old medical textbook. It's right here, in Law 37 of the 48 Laws of Power.
You see, the story of the Moon Doctor isn't really about healing at all. It is a textbook A-plus example of the power of creating a compelling spectacle. He knew, instinctively, what people needed to see in order to believe.
The judgment for this law, and this is straight from the source, just says it all. Big visuals, grand gestures, they create this aura of power. And when people are dazzled by the show, they stop paying attention to the details. They don't even notice what you're really up to.
But why are we such suckers for a good show? I mean, why is this so effective? The book actually dives into the psychology of it, and it's because a spectacle basically short-circuits our rational brain.
Here's how it works. A powerful spectacle just completely overwhelms your senses. It appeals directly to your emotions, not your logic. As Greene puts it, the visual is the easiest route to their hearts. It distracts us from what's actually happening, and the person at the center of it all, they start to seem larger than life, almost mythical.
And you know, this is not some modern marketing gimmick. Machiavelli was giving princes this exact advice 500 years ago. He knew that people are almost always more impressed by how things look than by how they are.
So, this brings us to something that is absolutely crucial about Law 37. You see, a lot of the other 47 laws have a time and a place. You have to know when to use them. But this one's different. You don't really get to choose to ignore it.
That's right. According to Robert Greene, this law is unique. It's absolute. Unlike so many other rules of power, there is simply no situation where you benefit from ignoring spectacle. And the book is incredibly clear on this point. No power is made available by ignoring images and symbols. In the world of power, there is no reversal. You either command the spectacle or you risk being completely overwhelmed by someone else's. And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Now that you understand how spectacle works, you're going to start seeing it everywhere, from how a new phone is launched, to a political rally, to its trending on social media. So, take a look around. What are the grand spectacles that are influencing you, shaping your world right now?